time I see Kimo, I say, Brother Kimo, we sing your song every Aloha Friday here on the John Nolan Show, and he loves that. Now, before we get to our next guest, who has been on this show before, we got to say some big shout-outs and some big mahalos all the way around to our sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be sitting here Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. That's the way it is. So we want to thank M. Dyer and Sons and Rebecca Parker and all the gang that work out at Pearl City, all the people who work in the offices with Rebecca, all the people who work in the warehouses, working so hard, and of course putting that stuff on the trucks, and all the drivers that hit the road, taking your stuff from here to there. M. Dyer and Sons, Rebecca Parker, mahalo. I want to thank Jonathan Wong, the Pono Way, LLC, and Sustainable808.com as well. Of course, Jonathan on the show every Wednesday. He'll be calling from San Francisco. He just happened to be in Southern California during that tragic mass shooting in San Bernardino the other day. And when he called up this past Wednesday, he was live, gave us pretty much a live report from what was going on over there and the terrible tragedy that they're still trying to figure out and is unraveling right now. I want to thank Jonathan for that live report. Also, Dr. Christina Picunis, a love relationship coach, and of course we'll tell you all the things that she's up to. She's putting on an event in February, and we'll let you know about that as well. So we will talk with her, and we say big mahalo to Dr. Christina. Also, the Goys Group, Leo and Larry, what do? Well, they handle private client investment services, retirement planning, wealth planning and management, college savings, you name it, they do it. 521-2601, 521-2601. And of course, I want to thank my producer, Jody Uehara, owner, social media manager, founder of MediaHui.com, www.mediahui.com. I want to thank our morning guy who helps us out here in the afternoons as well, James Tucker. He sits in this chair every morning from 7 to 9, Monday through Friday, and he's the morning guy. I get you through the afternoon, and James gets you up in the morning. Now, with that being said, we're going to shift gears, and we're going to get into our second hour of power here on the John Nolan Show. And my next guest, you know what I love about my job, I like to tell people, is, of course, I meet new people, and we check in with old friends as well. And through a long-time old friend, who, by the way, my guest went to high school with back in SoCal, as they say, he calls me, and of course, you know, we talk story and found out about an incredible mission that he is on, and he has been on the show, and we gladly, once again, greet him and say aloha again to Frank Ruiz, and aloha, Frank. Hi, everybody. How you doing, my friend?
Real good. Things are going real well.
Excellent. Yeah, I should say, man, you've been getting all kinds of pub since the last time we talked.
Yeah, a lot of press.
Yeah, which is good because you're getting the word out on what you do. You don't even have to go any further. If anybody out there, just look in this current midweek and all our friends over at Midweek, and of course Ron Mizutani, who I used to work with back in the day at Channel 2, and he is still at Channel 2, and he also writes for, as we all know, Midweek, One Man's Trash, Another Man's Passion, and of course, the piece is about you, Frank, and your company, and what a great job Ronnie does. Of course, he does that every edition. And Puma Punku Ocean Cleanup Inc., and talk a little bit about what's been, since the last time I talked to you, you did some more cleanups, and let's talk about this, because it's great for the community, what you're doing.
Well, on September 13th and 14th, we did another cleanup at the Alawai Small Boat Harbor. And McCabe Hamilton Rennie loaned us a high lift. We were able to move the dumpsters around a lot easier, and that was a big help. Thank you, John Fowling and Tim Gard for that, and Andrew, the guy who brought it.
Tim Gard, I know Tim. Yeah, good guy.
We were able to pull out, I think, over 8 tons of trash this time. We doubled our last effort because of the extra help we had, and we were a little more organized and knew what we were doing better. We pulled out, we ran out of room again with filled 4 dumpsters, and we had to leave a couple of dumpsters for the boaters because, you know, they need a place to put their trash too. And we were planning another one in December. I just went down to the harbor, and it rained about for 4 days straight, as everybody that lives here knows. It really rained hard, and it pushed a lot of the trash out into the ocean.
It seems to me, and you're now, because now you're in the industry and you're going to be putting together this wonderful company that's going to help, but it seems to me every time we go through this during the rainy season, it just seems to repeat itself over and over, doesn't it?
Yeah, the boaters, they tell us all about it, how every time it rains, it's just a nightmare of mostly wood, like 90% wood, but there's a lot of plastic, a lot of just, you name it, is in that, comes down, you know, from the 3 streams into the Alawai Canal, and then flows, for some reason, takes a left right at the Alawai Yacht Harbor, and it just fills up those poor boaters. The stuff stinks, you know, because because of the Alawai Canal, it's so polluted.
Right. And it's a problem, a major problem.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Sure it is.
Let me ask you something, because you know, you're starting to get involved knee deep, literally, in this thing. If you guys weren't cleaning it up, who would clean it up? Does the state?
They do get the prisoners from OCCC to come down once in a while.
Every blue moon.
But they don't put the effort in like we do. We really nailed it. We got those 8 tons in about 3 or 4 hours, and then we ran out of room. The next time, on our next one, Jay Atkins, Carrie Atkins' husband, who Carrie has been a secretary for McCabe, Hamilton, and Rennie for longer than I've been there, and I just retired after 27 years. And she's just great. And her husband is going to loan us an excavator, and so we may really be able to clean the whole thing next time.
Wow. That is really cool. And it's great that you have friends in the business and the resources to help you, because it really takes everybody's help to do something like this. And good on to your company, which, let's talk about that, because when did you, and for the people who have not heard your story, we're going to tell it again because it needs repeating. And you were a longshoreman. You just retired out 27 years.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, by doing that, you were right there. You're on the wharf. And when did this idea come to you? How long ago did you get this idea that this is something? Because obviously, of what you've told me and what you told me the last time we sat down and we talked on my show, it's like Henry J. Kaiser said: find a need and fill it. You definitely have found a need, my friend, and it needs to be filled.
Yeah, not just the Alawai Harbor.
The whole island. Yeah,
that is a big problem. But
yeah,
I want to start going to the windward side where the trade winds, you know, they blow onshore over there all the time. And I've been over there with my jet ski, and you see all this rubbish underneath all these little docks, these little wharfs that they're private, you know. But there's just lots of trash that gets blown up there because of the way the wind blows. So I want to get on that statewide, on all the windward sides and the other sides too. You know, the whole place, like the tsunami trash is showing up here and there. And I really...
That is, are you kidding me? That thing in itself is mind-boggling, like what's going on out there in the middle of the Pacific, and slowly getting, I mean, this stuff is just endless, isn't it?
There's a guy named Boyan Slat. He's big time into this industry, and I've read some of his stuff. There is a garbage patch between Hawaii and California that is like as big as the state of Texas. It's a gigantic like square of trash, and it's a big problem, and it's kind of just floating around out there. And he wants to do this big cleanup. He's planning it for a few years from now. Big plans, and he puts these floaters out there and traps it in a way where the wind blows it into the traps and collects it, and so it's a lot easier to pick up that way.
Wow.
So we're going to try doing some of that same stuff over here, and I'd like to be part of his cleanup in a few years when he does it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're talking, if you just joined us here on the John Nolan Show, where you been? You're missing a great Aloha Friday edition of the John Nolan Show. We're talking to our buddy Frank Ruiz, 27 years, just retired. Thank you for, of course, the longshoreman and on the waterfront, and he has a 501 nonprofit company that is specifically here to help the environment and the cleanup in this state. Punku.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, say that 10 times. Ocean Cleanup, Inc. And there's a great article in midweek, if you haven't caught it, Currents, our buddy Ron Mizzotani, and of course he writes about Frank and this whole effort in what you're doing. And so it's just one of those things where you're starting and laying down the foundation. We're going to take a break, and we're going to tell you more about this company and what Frank is doing, because it is something that everybody needs to get involved in terms of the community.
Yes.
And what you can do. And everyone can get involved.
We need your help, public. We really do.
Exactly. We'll tell you how when we come back on the John Nolan Show. Aloha Friday. Doesn't get any better than this, I'll tell you that.
Show weekdays at 5 p.m. on K108. Interesting talk, sports, and a whole lot more. That's the John Nolan Show weekdays at 5 p.m. on K108. Brought to you by American Coding Company, Hawaii Self-Storage, and Sunset Courier Service. The John Nolan Show weekdays at 5 p.m. on K108.
We're in Dyer & Sons. We're here. Close your eyes. What do you...
So the John Nolan Show on AM 1080K 108, the mighty 108. How you doing, everybody, on Aloha Friday? Hope you're doing well. You have taken us along for the ride. We are riding shotgun with you across this great state of ours. We say a big mahalo to you, and you know who you are. You are the greatest listening audience on the planet as far as this talk show host and this talk show is concerned. We're talking with Frank Ruiz, and he has a nonprofit 501c company, and his mission is to clean up the ocean and the Aina and to make sure that we have a clean environment. Puma Punku Ocean Cleanup Inc. And of course, it's a classic story. Tell them about how you named it, because when we first got together, I said, "Where'd you get that name, by the way?" And you said,
well, it's an archaeological site in Bolivia.
Yep.
It's about 10,000 years old, maybe 5,000 years older than the Egyptian pyramids. And there's like 120-ton stones. And being a longshoreman, we have 40-ton cranes down at Manson. And those 40-ton cranes, those are the latest things they got. They're the most advanced. And that's a 40-ton crane. And 120-ton stones, even more weight than that. But how did they lift them and cut them and put them on top of other stones? With what, ropes and pulleys? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Mind-boggling.
They have no idea how they did it.
Exactly.
So. And there's so many things at that site that they don't know how or what or who. It's prehistory. And so it's really fascinating. There's another place called Gobekli Tempe that is even older and has the same kind of stuff with these great carved granite stones. They don't know how they cut it, shaped it. There's no tools around. They find all kinds of stuff, but they don't find any tools. All on that Ancient Aliens program. It's just fascinating.
It is.
So,
it really is.
So I don't know. I just named it Puma Punku. I was fascinated with the place, and I thought, that's kind of catchy.
Yeah, it is. It is. And let's talk about your background, because you've been an ocean guy your whole life. You came out here because you love to surf, and you, like a lot of guys, came from Southern California during that era. You and my longtime buddy John Thorpe, who, by the way, hang glider, one of the top stuntmen in Hawaii, a long time, worked with me at Nick's Fish Market back in the day, and he hang glided off of Machu Picchu, by the way.
Did he really?
He did. Yeah, how's that?
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, you ask him about that one.
But I've seen him. I've gone with him, and he jumped off Makapu.
Yeah,
there.
I've done it too. I've been with him to launched him too off of there.
Yeah, and it's just.
Tell you, man, I'm
you
like,
gotta have.
yeah, cojones.
Exactly. I was going to say something worse, but
yeah, exactly. You gotta have cojones.
Incredible.
It is.
I don't think I could do that.
I mean, just launching the guy, I was nervous. I'm like, John, you want me to do what? yeah, just let go. I'm like, huh? Yeah. But interesting. And so you got over here surfing back in the day when it was really a great time to come out here, and it was and so you've loved the ocean from back all the way back to your surfing days.
Yeah, in the article it says I started surfing at 6. It's actually, I said 6th grade.
Okay.
A little different, but that's, I think, the only error.
I was 8 years old when my dad took me out with my best friend and at canoes and launched us on top of these big tankers, as they call them back in the day, and my best friend and I, and that's how we started. And I'll tell you couldn't get us out of the water when we were kids.
Yeah, I used to surf Malibu mostly, and then up north, Rincon, up by Santa Barbara, El Capitan. What a beautiful place! And then there's the whole south, the whole coast. Huntington, San Diego. But I loved up north, Santa Barbara most.
Sure,
it's so beautiful.
And of course, you grew up in Northern California, steamers, and Santa Cruz.
Never made it that far.
Yeah. And of course, Mavericks. Well, a friend that I knew, Mark Fu, who passed away at Mavericks. I saw him before he passed, by the way. Yeah. We talked, and next thing I know, he goes gone.
I was in a surf contest once, the Smirnoff Pro-Am preliminary.
Sure.
And Mark Fu was in my heat.
Yeah.
Him, Al Chapman, and Beaver Massenfeller.
There's some names.
All three of those guys were in my heat. I didn't have much of, that's some heavy competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Beaver Massenfeller went on to win that tournament.
Yeah, Al Chapman, man. And so of course, Mark
came over here and started surfing Sunset, and I just loved Sunset more than any place. I surfed Pipeline and Waimea, but Sunset was the bomb.
They're talking, and the timing of this and the timing of your company coming out to try to do this couldn't be at a more important time on literally this planet. They have just broken, and leaders from all over the world, as we know, including President Obama, came back from Europe after this global meeting about the environment and what are we going to do for global warming and sustainability and figuring out, because we're running out of time. And if we don't start cleaning up our mess, the mess is going to get to us. Isn't that right?
Yeah. We have to stop, overfishing, killing the whales. We have to take loving care of the ocean. We need to get our priorities straight, because the ocean is like the biggest thing. It will affect all of other things like
part of the ecosystem.
Hunger,
right.
And we're running out of water.
Right.
All these things are connected.
Of course it is. And not only land, but, obviously water is the biggest mass that covers this planet.
Yep.
And so knowing that, if we don't start cleaning up our act and stop doing what we're doing, like you said, whales is one of them. They just, Japan continues to do this.
Yeah, what's wrong? I mean, how can they actually do that?
Yeah, it's a mind scratcher. It's a
I see those whale
head scratcher.
Those guys, the guys fighting them, trying to stop them. They go out there with their ship.
Yep.
And they really practically attack the guys.
Right.
They screw up they do. They get in full-on fights, and it's. I'm so proud of those guys. They got really.
Well, we're seeing it now with the overfishing and the whale killing and all of this. Not only is it affecting, like you said, the ecological balance of what's going on in Omo, or Mother Ocean, but because of that, we're of global warming. We know that the weather patterns are changing. The ocean, we're having longer El Nino. El Nino causes these hurricanes and tropical depressions. They're getting stronger. I mean, it doesn't take, a weather guy to figure out that, every season it's getting so wacky, and the weather is changing radically. It's not the same weather patterns and things that we used to when we were growing up. The planet's getting hotter. I mean, it just, I don't know what people, and it's all because of people that, it's all in the love of money. It's greed, and it's unbridled greed.
I've learned that an enormous amount of plastic goes in the ocean. It's like, I wish I had the statistics, but it's like an Empire State Building worth of plastic every few days or every few weeks or something. It's just, and then it breaks down into microplastic, and then it settles into the sand, and all the creatures are being affected by this. That's going to kill them. You know, they can't eat that. It's like poison.
Yeah, and in turn, it just into this big cycle of poisoning one fish into another fish into another fish, and it's killing off the chain, the food chain. And so this is the type of thing we're talking about. Your company, talk about mission statement, talking about what kind of plan, and some of the things that you're trying to lay out that you want to do in terms of once you get rolling here, because you're in the first launch phase right now. You've done several cleanups, a couple cleanups now. You've been covered by all the press, which is great, all the weekend, Holy News Now. You've had some great publicity done. Ron did a great article on currents in midweek, and so, you know, this is really starting to get the word out about what you're doing. And so tell everybody what the mission statement is.
Well, I'm trying to start, well, we have started it, you know, and we're off to a great start, but I want to have a long-term company that takes care of Hawaii, first off, on all the islands. I want to have, like Ruiz, on each island, of groups of people with the same thing, you know, the same company that go out on a regular basis and clean the areas where it collects. And that's what we're... The Ala Wai Yacht Harbor is a great beginning place because there's so much trash there that it's really put our name in the press and stuff. So once we get... like I said, we are started, but now we need the public's help. People out there, you know, it's tax time. We're a 501c3 thing. If you go to my website, which is pumapunkuhawaii.com, we have a place where you can donate, and it's tax deductible. And I know there's a lot of great causes out there. There's a lot of hungry kids and kids that are deformed and so many. But this is another great cause that affects everything that we do in this world. And I'm really faithful that you people out there will hear us, and we need your help because I can't do it alone.
No, you can't. We all can't do it alone, and it's the type of effort that you need everybody to kind of help out and join in. And you know what? It's educational because the kids have to know, the next generation should know. This is something I believe you could go and talk to the schools around the state and really tell and get this generation of kids to realize it's really about the next generation, isn't it?
Yes, and the generation after that, and after that, if we're going to stay here without being too greedy and just taking, you know, take.
Yeah, exactly. You've
got to give back. We've already taken too much, and it's a good thing to give, to learn and grow and learn how to do it right, because we've been doing it wrong for a long time with the pollution. Look at China; it's just so.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. I've been to I haven't been to China, but I'll tell you, when you see that and the video of that in some of these cities where it's just belching out, it's as thick. They're wearing masks. They can't breathe. I've been to Indonesia. I've been to Jakarta, which is the capital of Indonesia. It's 7 million people over there. It looks like New York City, and the cars and the pollution. It's unbelievable.
And the coal.
Yeah. Right.
They just chugga, it's just into the air. Like, I grew up in Los Angeles in the valley, and it used to get so thick, the smog, but they really have done a good job of cleaning it up. It's a lot better now.
It is, because I remember, too, when I used to go as a kid to visit my uncle, who had a steakhouse in Glendora, California, called the Golden Spur, and I went up there one summer to work in his restaurant and to help out, and the payoff was, Frank, 3 games at the Coliseum watching the Rams. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. Never seen an NFL game. And then, of course, takes me to Chavez Ravine and watch the Dodgers play the Pittsburgh Pirates. And so I got over there, and I'll tell you, the smog is the first thing you notice. Second thing is, it used to get so bad back in the day, they used to shut it down where kids couldn't go out outside, right? Remember those days?
Yeah, smog alerts.
Smog alerts. Can't go out.
Now they're having them big time in China and India, I think, too.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take another pause for the cause. We're talking story with Frank Ruiz, Puma Punku, Ocean Cleanup, Inc., And we're going to tell you how you can get involved when we come back. And what we'd like you to do is go to his website, pumapunkuhawaii.com. That's what we'd like you to do. So if you want to help, if it makes sense, you want to know, get more information on this effort to try to clean up the Great 808, Hawaii, this island, as well as the other islands in this state, you can help out. And when Frank needs the help. Let's go back to your days in Southern California. You went to high school with some interesting people, didn't you?
Yeah. My graduating class, I had Renee Russo.
Actress Renee Russo, who I love, was in Tin Cup with Kevin Costner. I love that movie.
She worked with all the big shots.
Oh, yeah.
Clint Eastwood,
yep.
Mel Gibson.
Yep.
All of great movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent her a thing on Facebook, and she used to wear a pea coat every day.
Mm-hmm.
She'd wear this pea coat, and I asked her, "You still got that pea coat that I always used to see?" And I saw her at the 20-year reunion, and she remembered me.
Yeah.
And I also wrote,
was she the same?
She's a nice girl.
Yeah,
she's approachable and very friendly.
Yeah, it's nice to know when people hit it at a status like that. Yeah. That when you see them back in high school, that that they're the same, and don't get too out there.
And Ron Howard, I went to school. He was also in my graduating class, and that guy walks on water.
Are you kidding me? He is the director.
Robert Zemeckis, Steven Spielberg. They look up to him.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I think he's like, if not the top, one of the absolute top producers.
No. Imagine, his company Imagine.
Yeah, and he just came out with that Moby Dick film.
Yeah.
And I used to, I was, in 8th grade, I was 8th grade president, and his wife, Cheryl Alley, I believe her name was, she liked me. And one of her girlfriends came up to me and said, "Cheryl likes you." And so our eyes met in the hallway, and, we were kind of, we were like friends. She was my girlfriend for about 10 minutes, but I knew her and she knew me, and I sent Ron and her a nice message on Facebook, and I haven't heard back from them, but they've got plenty of money, and it's tax deductible. Come on down, Ron and Cheryl, and help me out. Help us out. It's a good cause.
Well, not only that, but at that level, there are people at that level, and if they want to get involved, certainly that would be great to get people at that level, but it doesn't matter at what level you're at. You want to give back, you want to help out the environment, you want this place to be clean, the oceans to be clean. pumapunkuhawaii.com is what we're talking about.
And so Roseanne Barr,
there you go.
She lives in Maui now, I believe.
Yeah, Big Island.
Oh, Big Island,
yep.
Okay. And she's got a macadamia nut farm. If anybody knows her, I would love, could you tell her about Pumapunku Hawaii? I couldn't find her on Facebook. And then, what's the guy's name that bought Lanai?
Larry Ellers.
Yeah, that guy. I need to get in touch with that guy, too, because, these guys, they've got it all. And
well, it's something that I believe that huge, as we all know, big responsibility with the Bill Gates of the world, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, noblesse oblige, meaning those who have much is expected.
Yes.
And when you have that kind of power and wealth, it's within the planet. It's within the stars to give back.
Yeah, but like Roseanne and that guy, what's his name again? Alexson?
I'm sorry, who?
The guy with Lanai.
Oh, Larry Ellison.
Yeah, these guys are here.
Ellison, yeah.
And
Larry
these guys
Ellison.
are here, and it's not like I'm asking for you to give money, but because when they give money to a 501c3, they get a lot of it back because it's such a great tax deduction.
Sure.
So it's a win-win situation.
Funny you say
Roseanne.
Roseanne. Funny you say that, Roseanne. The other day, just quick story since you just said that, brought up Roseanne. So I substitute teach up at the UH Lab School, and so I was heading in to go to sub-teach up there, and so as I was getting in the elevator that morning, I get in, and there's a guy next to me, and he looks like he's ready to go out and work out and jog, and so I kind of turned to him. I said, "Look like you're all ready to hit the ground running." And so he looks at me, I look at him, It's John Goodman, the actor who played the husband to Roseanne in Roseanne.
He's a heavy fella.
Are you kidding me? Well, no, he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, he's another roller coaster.
Yeah, that's right. And he's trimmed down. So I looked at him and I said, nobody in particular in this town, John Nolan, radio guy. I said, I really love your stuff. I'm a big Coen fan, the Coen brothers, the great Lebowski. He was in a bunch of things, and he's just, as we know, he's a great actor, John Goodman. So I said, hey, what are you doing here? He says, we're shooting a movie. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense. And so he's staying at the Ely Guy. And, I shouldn't say that. Oops. But anyway, yeah, they're shooting a movie. So interesting. You never know who you're going to walk into an elevator and talk to. But this is our point. That's the people that would be nice.
Oprah, does she have a place over here?
Or Maui. There you go. Big, huge place.
I got to find her, too.
That's a possibility. We'll talk later. I know the gal who flies in her private plane, who is part of the staff of her.
Must be tough.
Tough work if you get it. So that's a possibility. But these are the things we're talking about for the right reason to give back, and what a good way to give back for the environment, because right now the whole world knows that we have to do something. There has to be a shift, a change in how we do it and what we do. So, as I said earlier, the timing of you with this company you couldn't be at a more important time in this planet, on this planet, to come out with something like this, to clean up 4 tons. I mean, that's mind-boggling.
That was the first one. The second one was double. 8 tons.
Yeah, that's mind-boggling when you think about that much trash.
Yeah, it's all concentrated in that canal, so I mean, it's easy to pick up because it's all there in one big chunk.
And of course, why don't we give a shout out to some of your guys that are fellow and also who've helped out with these, who come down there to help you out with these cleanups. You are co-workers or former workers of yours, and some of them are on your board.
Yeah, like Ruiz Wand. He's been a big help. He's been one of my main guys. Really can depend on him. New guy, Brian Benitez, an artist, a really great guitar player and singer. And he's been helping me out a lot with internet stuff, and he's really good at the computer. Right now, he's back at home recording this. Thanks, Benny. Hey, Benny, you the man. And Darren Chu. Excuse me. Darren Chu has been a big help too. He's a Manson supervisor. Jeff Williams, he's a crane operator, and he's been there from the beginning. Steve Iwasaki, Curtis, Rocky Tahara. He's the man. He's one of my main guys, Rocky Tahara, and I think he's listening. Love you, Rocky, and thank you so much. Mark Gonzalez came down. Micah Q, he's been a big part of this. Yeah. He came down, he's been traveling a lot, but he came down to the last. Covered Mike throughout his career when he was playing for the University of Hawaii. Yeah, Mike. Need your help, Mike. Gary Speece came down, and he's a contractor I've known forever. I used to live at Velzyland with him way back in the 70s. In the 70s. And if you remember the 70s, you weren't there. And there was a kid named Patton Simpson. I flew him in from Oklahoma. He's like my Hanai son. Mm-hmm. He was a big help with the computer, with the and even cleaned my house. He stayed with me. He was a big help, and I enjoyed having him stay with me for a few days. Excellent. And that's what we're talking about. Everybody kind of getting together and helping out and showing the aloha spirit by doing this. And once again, pumapunkuhawaii.com is where we want you to go to find out more information if you want to help everyone, of course, and end the state in cleaning up. This is not just something you're doing on the side. This is it for you. This is a long-term goal for you, right? Yeah, I want to do this. I love this. It's been terrific. And I also want to thank Megan Statz. She's been helping us. She's the DLNR kind of boss over there. And Ed Underwood works with her. And what's his name? William Isla. Yeah, William Isla. He's the one who really, out of Waianae, the Leeward Coast, helped me in the beginning. He was the harbor master at Waianae for a long, and then he was head of the DLNR. Yep. And both him and Ed Underwood went to the state legislature with me, thanks to Miley Shimabukuru. she's my senator out in that area, and she went to, she introduced a bill that we got passed. It was an amendment to a jet ski bill to where we can use jet skis now for ocean cleanup, because before that they were only and limited to their little ormas or areas where, because there's been a lot of, people in accidents, so they really came down hard on jet skis. But now Neil Abercrombie signed it into law, and we're able to use jet skis for ocean cleanup. And Clyde Cow, he donated 4 catamarans to us.
I interviewed him before he won the Eddie Cow one in the 80s.
Yeah, I remember, and he is now training to surf Jaws. He's older.
Wow.
He's older than me, and
I know. That's awesome.
He's still going at it.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that, and as you say, it's just, you can't do it alone. You've got, sound like you've got a pretty good team of people that you're whipping up, and that's great.
Oh yeah, Carl Henry. Carl Henry came down. God bless him. I think he might be listening.
What's next on the agenda as far as, are you planning another cleanup, and how's this, how are you, what's on the plan, the game plan, as they say?
Well, we have another cleanup coming up in December.
Excellent.
Like I said, just recently it rained so hard that it pushed a lot of trash out. So it's just a matter of time before it collects again. I mean, there is still some, but not like when we were there before.
Which is great, because that's the whole point. You're going
but it just pushes it out into the ocean, and then the boaters, we got all these big logs that they complain about smashing into, and their propellers get fouled up by all this wood floating around.
We got to take a next break, and of course we're talking to Frank Ruiz. PunkuHawaii.com is where we want you to go to find out more about this great company, nonprofit 501c, and of course a dream. And you can read Ron Mizutani's Currents, and a great article, One Man's Trash, Another Man's Passion, in midweek.
And it's also on the website, that article.
Excellent.
In the About Us section.
Excellent. Stick around, we got more on Everything I Want to Watch to the John Nolan Show. On AM 1080 K108, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. I want to give a shout out to some special people. M. Dyer and Sons, Rebecca Parker. Mahalo to them for what they do for the John Nolan Show. In the heart of the island. I want to thank Jonathan Wong, the Pono Way, LLC, Sustainable808.com as well, a local educational company helping your sons and daughters on the road to success. Sustainable808.com, how to lower your food cost. That's what we're talking about. I want to thank Dr. Christina Pikunitz, our love relationship coach. And we want to thank the Goys Group, Larry, Leo, and of course they handle private client investment services. That's what they do. Give them a call today, 521-2601, 521-2601. And we want to thank my producer, Jody Uehara, owner, founder of MediaHui.com. Go to www.mediahui.com as well. I want to thank also James Tucker. Don't forget, 7 to 9 every morning, Monday through Friday. He'll get you up, and I'll get you through in the afternoon. That's how we work here on the John Nolan Show at K108. So now, Frank, is so many things got to be in place, and you're building this team, which is great. And the timing we talked about can't be any better. People got to get aware and akamai, as we say here in the islands, get smart, because it can be done, it will be done, it must be done in order for
on earth as it is in heaven.
Exactly. And that is a hope, and really, I think everyone is kind of realizing how fragile this ecosystem is, and we've got to start doing something.
We're at a tipping point.
That's it.
We have to change. We have to change. That's all there is to it. We have to do better.
That's it. We got to be better stewards, as you were saying earlier.
Of the planet.
That's it. And there's no reason why we shouldn't.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no reason.
It's that greed. That's the worst thing. That people just don't care. They figure they're going to die in in 20 years or whatever. They don't care.
Right.
But we have to care for the future generation.
Well, if you care for your own family, your grandchildren, their children. I mean, if you care about
the future of the planet.
Exactly. I think you should start caring about everything that we're up to in terms of getting this thing figured out and cleaning and making sure that this planet is a safe planet. Some of the things that you should tell everyone is for more information, they can go to your website and look up at some of the coverage that's been done by the TV stations and Ron Mizutani's article in midweek.
Yeah, that's in the About Us section, and then we have a video section. We've been on the television 4 times, four different,
excellent,
3 different channels, on Channel 2 twice. There on the video, and then our gallery section is looking real good these days. I got a lot of my crew looking there, in all our yellow Puma shirts, looking good.
And getting the word out, and tell everybody once again, you'd like to go to your site to get more information, some background, so they know what they're doing, but also contacting you for anything if they want to help out, come out, join you.
My phone number's there. It's 808-341-4262. It's on the website, and then I have my email there, rznail@aol.com. And you can call me anytime for any, so many people have called thanking me, and I just, it breaks me up that they're so grateful that I'm doing this.
That is great.
It makes me feel really good.
Absolutely. And, people in Hawaii, we still, I believe, have the aloha spirit. We are the aloha state, and the community is strong here. It always has been. I'm born and raised here. Any time of ups and downs in this community stands up and is always giving and helping. Wow. And this is another thing here. One of the things we have to do is we got to get your word out to the children, to all the schools and the high schools around the state.
I would love to get some programs going to where we go and speak to the children. Dwayne DeSoto's doing some great work with kids. He's got a 501c3 also.
Excellent.
And he does surf meets. He just did one out at McCaw just the other day. I went out there.
I interviewed his dad back in the day when he was, of course, city councilman, and when his dad was his dad was a motorcycle champion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cross country motorcycle.
Dwayne's been doing some great work, and he's much further along in his company than I am. But I call him and ask for advice, and he's got a lot of good advice for me.
Excellent. Yeah, John DeSoto, of course, was...
that's John DeSoto.
Yeah.
I didn't know
John DeSoto was... he was a cross-country champion back in the day.
Dwayne's no schlup.
Are you kidding me? He's
Chopu and Tahiti.
He's champion.
Yeah.
Dwayne is a champion.
Super surfer.
Yeah, another waterman as well, and pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
Very approachable person, very friendly, nice.
Well, my friend, as they say, we thanks for coming in. I really appreciate you coming down.
Thank you, Benny.
You live out, you live out on the Leeward Coast, and we appreciate you coming down. We know how traffic is sometimes getting in. How was traffic, by the way?
It was fine until I got to town, and then it was like gridlock. Oh.
Well, Frank, we're gonna get busy in this month and in this new year, and we're hoping we can help in some way, the John Nolan Show, and get active, get everybody get the word out. That's our mission statement. So I hope.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, and thanks for coming in. Mahalo to Frank Ruiz and Hawaii.com as well. Well, as we say here on the John Nolan Show, as soon as we heat up, we got to cool down. And we got to heli on and get on down the road, brothers and sisters. But before we go, big mahalos all the way around.
God bless us.
Yep. In our first hour of power, I want to thank Rob Collius, the Maui News sports writer extraordinaire. Thank you, Robbie, for your live report. Thank him, as always. We will talk to him on Monday. We will also talk to Augie Messenberg and Leo Goys on Monday as well. In our second hour, you heard Frank Ruiz. Hawaii.com. Go to and find out more about this great 501 nonprofit company that's trying to clean up this state. Thank you, Frank. Also, want to thank our sponsors. Without them, we would not be here. M. Dyer & Sons, Rebecca Parker, thank you for all they do for the John Nolan Show and all the people that work with Rebecca. Jonathan Wong, Punaway LLC and Sustainable808.com. We'll hear from Jonathan on the road next Wednesday from San Francisco. Dr. Christina Picunis, our love relationship coach. I want to thank her for all she does here for the John Nolan Show. The Leo, of course, and Larry Goy's group. Give them a call today, 521-2601. My producer, Jody Uehara, www.mediahui.com. I want to thank, of course, our morning guy, James Stecker, from 7 to 9, Monday through Friday. Francis, Bob, and, of course, Barry Wagonboard, owner, operator. Be safe, be well. God bless. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Ahoy ho.